I'm sure we've all heard by now, Andrew and his brother Tristan Tate were arrested on December 29th.
The Matrix has attacked me.
I wanted to give the story some time to develop, as opposed to just talking out of my ass like some other people on this website. So now that we've got some more information, I want to explain to you guys exactly what's going on and share my opinion on this whole situation. It's alleged that the two Tate brothers and two other Romanian citizens who have not been named kept 6 women captive in houses surrounding Bucharest, Romania, where those women were assaulted and forced to produce adult content for social media under threats of violence. Not only was Andrew's personal home raided, but 4 other homes were raided around the same time. As to how they were getting these women to come to Romania and get them to work for them, it is specifically mentioned in the press release that Andrew and Tristan were using what's referred to as the lover boy method, meaning that they were basically saying they wanted to be in a relationship and potentially marry these women, but in reality they just wanted the girls to come to Romania so they could work for them. And as of the recording of this video, Romanian prosecutors have just been granted permission to detain Andrew and Tristan Tate for 30 days, so we're most likely not going to be hearing from either of them anytime soon. Andrew had tweeted this earlier yesterday, however this was not directly from Andrew, most likely his cousin Luke or someone else with access to his account. Tate's lawyer has stated that they have filed an appeal for this decision.
The court issued an arrest warrant for 30 days. We've appealed it. The court will decide after the appeal what the final solution is.
But there have not been any updates around that as of right now. It should also be mentioned that there is also an allegation of rape in the arrest warrant. One thing to keep in mind that no one is talking about regarding this situation is that there are 4 total people mentioned in the arrest warrant, not just Andrew and Tristan Tate, and to the best of my knowledge, we don't know who these 2 people are and what they have or haven't done. Also, in the press release, the United States and Great Britain are specifically mentioned, meaning that there is most likely some sort of outside influence involved in this as well. That's essentially the quickest and simplest way I can summarize the whole case for you guys up until this point. Now, Andrew has openly stated in the past that a major reason as to why he actually moved to Romania is because it allows for easier access to corruption.
And I like living in countries where, 1, there's some kind of moral fiber beyond the dollar, and 2, I like living in countries where corruption is accessible for everybody.
So that could either help him or hurt him in this case. It could help him in the sense that he could potentially just bribe his way out of the alleged crimes, assuming that he actually did it, or it could hurt him because the government could see this as sort of an insult and try even harder to prosecute him. I'm not sure what the laws are surrounding bail in Romania, but I would assume that they're not going to be let out on bail anytime soon, given the fact that Andrew has openly bragged about having more than 5 passports.
It is about being above the law, but the easiest way to become above the law is to be under lots of different jurisdictions. If you have 10 different passports, it's much harder to constrain you.
And I'm sure Andrew and Tristan have access to a bunch of money to be able to fly to another country if needed. So there's essentially a massive flight risk in letting them out. Now, regarding the arrest, who knows what's going on realistically. Some people on the 29th were saying that he had been arrested for money laundering and other crimes like that, but as more information has come out, it turns out that is completely false, and it has now been confirmed that this is a human trafficking and organized crime investigation. Now, I do want to say, Andrew, just like anyone who is under investigation, should be assumed innocent until proven guilty, unless there's some really solid proof that's verifiable that's also available to the general public. A good example would be Scam Bateman-Fried. Yes, he should have been assumed innocent until proven guilty too, but I think we all know the dude's pretty goddamn guilty.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Regarding Andrew and Tristan, obviously these are some pretty heavy allegations, and to the best of my knowledge, nobody aside from the prosecutors have seen the actual proof that's being used against them in this case. I don't know exactly what the laws are in Romania, but I think it's just basic human decency to assume that someone is innocent until proven guilty, regardless of whether you like someone or not. And people nowadays are so quick to jump to conclusions. Everyone wants to be first to the story, and sometimes being first to the story is great. Maybe you get some extra clout out of it. But oftentimes the first person to the story is just the worst, and they happen to be spreading the most amount of misinformation, which we will get into later. And in my opinion, there's only 2 possible scenarios here which actually make sense. Number 1 is Andrew is guilty of what he's being accused of, and if he is, and there's solid evidence of him actually doing these crimes, he should go to jail. Simple as that. I think even if you're Tate's biggest fan, if he did the things he's being accused of, which are some absolutely horrible things, at some point you have to be willing to put your emotions and feelings aside and admit the truth. Regardless of how many 2, 3, 4 hour podcasts anyone does, at the end of the day, we don't personally know these people or the things that they do behind closed doors. Andrew is a fully competent and, in my opinion, very smart man who's far more intentional in the things that he does and says than I think the average person is aware of. So if he did break the law in one way or another, most likely wasn't by accident. But when I think about it for a second, why in the world would Andrew and Tristan commit these specific crimes? Do Tristan and Andrew really need to capture women to get them to work for them? Given the reach that these two men have, the audience they've been able to cultivate, do they need to do that in order to get women to work for them? Not only that, but then for Andrew to go on camera and record himself talking about these things like the cam girl business that he claims he used to operate, knowing that he's done these crimes and also knowing that he's currently being investigated by the Romanian government, that would be pretty stupid. For example, you rarely ever see real mafia guys getting on camera and bragging about how much they love being in the mafia. They're usually pretty low-key about it. So part of it is just not making sense to me. I would assume both Andrew and Tristan make well over $10 million a year through their courses and stuff like that, so I don't personally see a reason as to why they would commit these crimes, but then again, there's a lot of criminals on social media who commit crimes that just don't make sense to me at all.
Ding doink, you're my favorite coin. Want you to dink on my face, take a doink on my chest, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this is not clickbait. I went to jail.
The only other explanation I can think of as to why Tate got arrested is that he's essentially being attacked by the Matrix, as he would like to put it.
The Matrix has attacked me.
Now, realistically, if I had to bet on what's actually happening here, I would probably bet against the Romanian government framing the Tate brothers for crimes that they have absolutely zero involvement in, all because of the red pill videos they post to social media. I just don't see that as a realistic course of action that any sensible government would take based on videos someone posts online. I think the Matrix, in terms of large social media platforms, have attacked him absolutely 110%, and I don't think that was fair at all. And if the raid on his home and the arresting of Andrew and Tristan is based on completely falsified information, that is a very serious problem. There's also the possibility that the women accusing the 4 men involved were not telling the complete truth. That's not out of the question as well. Now, this investigation has been going on since April, and the police obviously knew this would be an internationally renowned story, so I would assume they're able to back up the arrest they made with some sort of actual facts. So I do think this is the less likely theory of the two, to be honest. But on the other hand, I would not be surprised if this was some sort of smear campaign influenced by false information, which is only coming out based on the amount of influence that Andrew has. Essentially like being canceled, but in real life.
So when you become the most Googled man on earth and you're influencing people in the opposite direction, it would be ignorant for me to see and not understand there are people sitting around thinking, how do we make this guy go away?
Now, I'm not a very conspiratorial type of guy. In fact, I hate conspiracy theories. However, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but essentially any time someone becomes mainstream and they just happen to be right-wing, they get absolutely obliterated and slandered heavily online. And there's absolutely no boundaries as to what you could say about a celebrity that personally disagrees with the politics of 50% of the United States. Whether that be Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Ron DeSantis, Alex Jones, Sneeko, Trump, Jordan Peterson, Ted Cruz, Andrew Tate, Kanye West, Fresh and Fit, it doesn't matter who it is, as long as they're on the side that goes against the grain, you are more than welcome to slander that person publicly online. I personally dislike half of those guys, yet I'm still willing to admit that they get treated objectively unfairly online. And I'm only mentioning this because I've seen these people get attacked and attacked and attacked endlessly online, sometimes even contributing to it myself.
You need to wake up!
But given how easy it is to access what's essentially slander going against these men, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that slander started translating to the real world, because it's bad, and I think it's only gonna get worse and worse. For example, if I'm on Reddit and I see a thread about any of those men I just mentioned in any subreddit that's on the popular page, I would be willing to bet money that that thread is there to hurt their reputation in one way or another. It will never be positive. I've been observing this fact for years now, and I'm saying this from a completely objective point of view. That is not fair, and that, in my opinion, does nothing but make it harder to find the actual valid criticisms against those men. This is exactly what I mean. Here's an article written by the Daily Beast which claims that Sneeko is a racist. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know I do not like this dude, but to claim that he is racist is insane. He's like 4 different races.
He's like, you're racist. I love you.
And if Tate was unfairly arrested, that is bad, where the words you say on social media are actually transcending now out of social media and into the real world and directly contributing to the fact that you could possibly go to jail based on who likes you and who doesn't like you. That's bad. If there's anything I've noticed in the past 5 years of being an adult growing up in the internet age, it's that everything like this is a slippery slope. When Alex Jones got completely deplatformed in 2018,
look at this dog. This dog is a meal. This dog is a literal communist.
guess what these social media companies started doing to everyone that they personally deemed to be bad? Deplatforming them. What I can tell you is that Tate has already endured an intentional attack from every single large social media platform all at the same time. He did not break the terms of service of Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, Uber, and basically every other big tech company all at the same time. That's just not possible. And if, and that's a big if, Andrew Tate is not actually guilty of anything he's being accused of, and this is essentially nothing but the world's first public real-life cancellation attempt, there is nothing on this planet worse for the future of mankind than this type of behavior. Because tyranny works one step at a time, and it happens over an extended period of time. Assuming this is a smear campaign without them ever having any sort of concrete and solid evidence of this crime actually being committed, this is a world-changing event right here. And if he gets off scot-free and the prosecutors don't have an airtight case here, Tate is essentially going to become even more of a martyr than he already was. So realistically, regardless of which direction this situation turns out to go, it's just an absolute nightmare of a situation. Either the haters of Tate, like Lasan Abi, are massively happy that he goes to prison, or he didn't commit these crimes at all, the tater tots get filled with massive amounts of joy, and he becomes 10 times more popular than he already was before, and he's gonna end up making well over $100 million off of just this 1 month that he spent in jail. Once again, I think this all being fake and some sort of attack from the alleged Matrix is the less likely scenario of the two. The prosecutors and the judge would have to be so stupid to sign the papers to approve of this raid and to detain him and his brother without having some sort of evidence that's undeniable. Because it's not like they were just detained for a day, they're now also being kept detained for 30 days. But we also have to keep in mind that 4 total people are accused of doing these crimes. So it's also totally possible that the 2 other people did the worser part of the alleged crimes. And lastly, I want to address this whole pizza box narrative that was going around because it's been spreading around the internet like a wildfire, and I keep seeing it everywhere, and to be honest, it just pisses me off every time I hear this completely fake narrative, so I'm just going to let Charlie explain it to us.
You see, in this video, he made a mistake. He included a pizza box from a Romanian pizza place, which let the authorities know that he was still in the country. So, after realizing that, they tracked him down and arrested him today.
That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Tate getting arrested has nothing to do with these pizza boxes. I can assure you that. This pizza box thing is nothing but a myth, and do not try and say nobody believed this. Almost everyone did. Here are the top 4 comments on Ludwig's video. It is not mentioned anywhere on the official Romanian police press release. This was a 9-month-long investigation. It's honestly incredible to me how quickly this misinformation has been spread across the face of the internet thanks to one tweet and into the mouths of these very popular YouTubers like Ludwig, Moist Critical, and Some Ordinary Gamers. I like all those guys, but I genuinely cannot imagine being dumb enough to actually believe that story and then repeat it to hundreds of thousands of people on video.
He is still being detained for 30 days on those charges. Was it all thanks to a pizza box that he was arrested though? No, that probably should have sounded off my bullshit alarms.
Here's the video in question. He's filming this in his home, which is in Romania. He has filmed like 200 other videos in that exact same spot, which just happens to be in his home. Here's a person who started this rumor about these goddamn pizza boxes admitting that this tweet was based on nothing but speculation. And either way, in 2022, almost 2023, if the government can't tell what country you're in from the cellular device that we all just happen to carry around in our pockets 24/7, that government is simply incompetent. Also, regardless of the brands on pizza boxes or cell phones, there's this thing called a passport, which the government can use to verify whether you're in the country or not, regardless of what you're posting on social media. This whole pizza box narrative is just so mind-numbingly stupid. I can't believe how many people were buying into this garbage. And just to confirm, here's an official spokesperson for the investigation team confirming the raid had nothing to do with pizza boxes. I know this doesn't change the main story much, but it's just simply incorrect, and it's building this completely fake narrative where Greta Thunberg is essentially the reason why Andrew Tate is in jail.
Someone has sat her down and convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot.
And not the 9-month-long investigation that took place. So what I can confidently say is anyone who repeated this garbage, in my opinion, I don't think they're a good source of information moving forward, because this was always such an easily disprovable and false narrative started from one tweet that was essentially pulled out of the ass of the person who wrote it. At the end of the day, we don't know what Tate and his brother have done or haven't done, or what evidence the police have, but at this point the only thing we can do is wait. There's no point in endlessly speculating and creating fake narratives like this pizza box narrative. We have to wait and see exactly what happens. I guess just for now, we could say that Andrew Tate got Bucharest. That's just what I think. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. Other than that, I hope you all have a great day.